Hey everybody, this is our on the road mobile update. We are heading home. Not quite there yet. 3 more hours. We are coming up on Perry. I thought I was going to make it to Perry, but I had to pull off close to where, just south of Monticello is where I'm at right now. Was just up here streaming for Helene. Here we are again, streaming Milton. Like yesterday. I still see trees down. Unheard of. All right. Okay, I think I'm good to go. I had to click a couple buttons here. Looks good, looks good, looks good. All right. So, welcome everybody to the Daily Brew PM edition. As you know, we were in Talladega, Alabama, and that's my yearly trip for the last 20 years, but it was more about weather this time around. We were live every night, every morning. I posted a lot. I was proud to be able to do that with thanks to Starlink. We're going to do an update tonight on the latest, what's going on, and we're going to do a live in the morning at 9:19. And we'll do a live tomorrow night, Monday night. We'll do a live Tuesday morning. We'll do a live Tuesday night. There's a lot of time left, believe it or not. I consider 3 days out not 100% set in stone. So 2 days out, yeah, we're getting there. 18 hours out pretty much. So believe it or not, we're still in that kind of wishy-washy, flip-flopping, wiggle-wobble forecast, okay? And we're going to go over the latest. Really hadn't had a lot of change except for the landfall effects are becoming more wide of a system. We're going to get into that. We talked about that this morning a lot, and now I see that's kind of a talking point for the storm. All right. So real quick, who am I, Mike? My name is Mike. I'm a weather dude, not a meteorologist. I know I say it. A lot of new folks need to hear it. Been doing this since '04, 20 years now of Mike's Weather Page, and proud to win the Tropical Meteorology Award a few years ago for the state of Florida. Here we are talking about the state of Florida again. Cover all hurricanes all across the U.S. and the globe, and we have a lot of great followers and fans. A lot of family now. We've all become family. I met a ton of y'all at Talladega. It's really awesome, but definitely, if what I do, confuses, then I always refer to National Hurricane Center or National Weather Service for official information, especially as we get close to a storm like this. And I'm going to show you some great links here to go to that might help, okay? So I got two things circled here. As a matter of fact, I moved my page and it kind of got a little weird. Let me draw them again. There's two pages here I want to show you on my page. So this column right here has everything to do with Milton. Okay, this is a very important link right there. Florida Division of Emergency Management official storm information. All right, when you click on that, you go here and you got Tropical Storm Milton. You click on that, you have all these tremendous links: press releases, executive orders, sandbags, know your home, know your zone, county emergency management sites. The most important link on here has every one of y'all's counties. Okay, the million questions you're going to ask me right now, you can find out for yourself by going to your local county and finding out things like zones, evacuations, etc., etc. So I don't give evacuation advice. I don't even see comments right now. I turn them off. I can't get distracted because I know they're all just, I want to just present the facts and some thoughts along the way. Great site. Highly recommend it. Share it, read it, go to your county. I know Pinellas County has teased with their wording today to voluntarily evacuate ABC mobile homes before we possibly go to mandatory. So a lot of counties are considering A, B, possible C evacuations. That is a ton of people. Kevin Guthrie today, director of Florida Division of Emergency Management, said it could be our largest evacuation in Florida since Irma. It could be a massive evacuation. Get a hotel room. If you're in an evacuation zone, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. Because once they order these evacuations, everybody's going to panic, try to find rooms. Most of these rooms are already occupied because of Helene, unfortunately. And Helene responders and linemen and a million other people. So if you're going to evacuate, it's going to be a headache to try to do that. The other link that I want to show you here real quick is right here. NWS Hurricane Plan and Prepare. When you click on that link, it takes you to this site right here. And this one has everything you possibly need to know. All right, what to do before the storm, how to plan, take action, hurricane safety hazards, everything. How to make a hurricane kit. Everything you need to know is right here. So spend some time on that page. It's linked to my site. All right. Here's what we got. We got a rapidly developing hurricane. It's got an eye wall. The pressures are dropping. It might be in the 970 millibar range right now. It's on its way to possibly Cat 5. The Hurricane Center talks about that. Officially, it's going to peak at 145. They're saying it could be under. Okay? It is expected to weaken before landfall, but how much, and does it really even matter? Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. So I do not like using those words like weakening, downgraded. It gives you a false sense of, oh, no. Downgraded from 145 to 120 is not downgraded. A 120 hurricane is bad enough. So, take it serious. Listen to your EOC. If you're ordered to evacuate, make that decision. Okay, you make that decision. But just know they make those evacuations when things are serious and there could be a lot of hazards that you need to be away from, especially water. Okay? Hide from the wind, run from the water. Almost 90% of all hurricane deaths are water related. Half of that is surge, the other half is inland flooding. Okay? Water, water, water. Stay away from that water. Get the heck out of there. So the storm's bubbling away tonight. Latest track, we'll have a new one at 11 p.m. Eastern in about 3 hours. Sorry about my nose itching. Major hurricane sitting right off the coast of Florida here. 120 mile an hour expected. It's supposed to peak at 145. It's supposed to weaken to 120. It's expected to maintain hurricane strength through the whole state. Okay, that is huge because hurricane winds in Orlando, possibly Lakeland, Daytona Beach, who knows? Plant City, Sarasota, Braid. There's a lot of population here dealing with a possible direct hit and hurricane force winds. So it's going to impact a lot of people. And this thing is starting to show signs that it's going to expand that wind field, almost turning into a subtropical look system. And that just brings a lot wider system, a lot more people affected. And that also increases surge. I'm going to show you here in a second. So, I know I say it, don't focus on the center. We say it all the time. Anywhere in this eye or anywhere in this cone, the eye can go. And we've seen that with tracks 2 days out. Okay. 2 days out. We've seen if you're in that center line 2 days out, and if you're on that black line 2 days out, chances are that's not where the storm is going to go. So don't focus on that center line. It's going to change. It's going to wiggle wobble. You're going to drive yourself crazy with every little wiggle and every little wobble. Today we had the spaghetti models go south, then they bounced back north. I was a little surprised the NAC kept it almost the same, but the spaghetti models are bouncing around, so we're going to see this track bounce around. But the bouncing around doesn't mean anything. You can't do anything about it. The bouncing around shouldn't change your plans, because if you're in that cone, that thing could change last second, and then you ain't got time. Trust me. I've talked to people from Fort Myers. When that cone changed and that storm turned, there was no time to prepare. There was no time to get a plan. The roads were jammed. There's no gas. There's no hotels. The interstates were stopped, and you're stuck. So don't get caught into a panic at the last second and say, crap, we should have evacuated, or we should have had a plan. Think now where you're going to go, what important documents you have. If you weren't already flooded, unfortunately, 20,000 plus homes are flooded in the Florida West Coast, which I don't think anybody realizes the amount of homes that have been flooded from Helene, and that's awful. We have streets lined up of trash every neighborhood for miles and miles. This stuff is going to get either A, lifted up from surge and spread all back around, or it could blow around. Who knows? We got debris everywhere. I mean, every county. We're talking 20, 30,000 homes of debris out in the road. Think about that. We're not talking hundreds of homes. We're talking tens of thousands of homes with debris and everything. So there's a massive cleanup going on right now. They're trying to get all this picked up, but they're going to run out of time. Anyways, we'll get into some more stuff here. I got to keep this short. I got to get home. Here's the track. Now, last night we were showing the black line, which I say don't focus, but people like to see it. Now we have the 120-mile-an-hour hurricane just off the coast here, just south of Tampa Bay area. Unfortunately, now for Sarasota, it's going over you. But man, we are talking wiggles and wobbles here. This thing decides to go a little bit more to the north there, and there are models going to the north. Okay, we're gonna look at them all in a minute. Okay, I am not 100% sold on this yet. I am not sold on this thing not going back north again. I'm, not official. I'm just not sold on it. That's why we have a cone. But all these cities and towns, paying attention close. Should exit the state still as a hurricane. That's going to change the impacts we're going to get into. All right. So wide system, little wiggles and wobbles do not mean anything. We're going to have a hurricane here that's going to be super duper wide, tons of winds. Okay. A wiggle 5 miles ain't going to change the inland effects. Okay. It might change the surge, yes, and the eye wall winds, but those we can't predict. The overall impacts, the things that I read people get excited about that live inland when they see a nudge. Oh, hurricanes aren't like tornadoes. They're massive. So the effects and the impacts don't matter if we have wiggles and wobbles. Okay, Helene is a fine example of that. Okay, it made a difference for Tallahassee, but man, it didn't make a difference for everybody else. So don't worry about these little wiggles and wobbles right now. That's why we have a cone. If you're in the cone, that's what it's all you should be paying attention to right now. Like I said, 2 days out, I have seen storms 2 days out do this. I've seen them do this. Okay, I've seen them do that. Rarely do I see them stay right there 2 days out. So we're going to see changes again. I'll almost bet money. This is not going to be the last. Historically, that will not be the last line. Watch it be the last line. But all right, so rainfall is going to be huge. Obviously, we talk about rainfall, inland flooding going on now. It's pouring here. It's pouring everywhere. We got a frontal line. That's going to get on out of here before our hurricane. But we got a lot of rain. We got double-digit rains across the I-4 corridor now. This is going to wiggle and wobble based on the track, too. But bottom line is we're going to have some folks near 20 inches plus, okay? Don't have to show you rain maps because you don't know who's going to get that. Somebody's going to get an isolated rain train, a band of rain that's going to be coming in like that, and it's just not going to move. We don't know where, It could be anywhere. It could be coming off of the Atlantic. It could be coming down here in Miami. It might come around by the Keys. It could wrap around up here to Jacksonville. There's going to be a lot of rotating rains coming in, and rain training is going to happen for somebody, and flooding is going to be a big story. Double-digit rains. Travel is going to be a nightmare. Ground is saturated already. We got tons of water. It has nowhere to go. That's going to be a story. That brings trees down. Power outages are going to be more than we've seen. Power outages are going to extend way inland, wherever that's. The power outage is going to extend way inland. Wherever this thing goes, we're going to see massive power outages. They're going to spread. Okay. And we don't have a lot of resources. We got linemen all over the East Coast. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think we're going to see the response because they're already helping Helene folks. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to see a lot of people with prolonged power outages. And there's your flooding rain map. That's kind of what I just said. Red's bad, yellow's kind of bad, green's bad. Here's your timing. Tuesday, 8 p.m. We'll start to see tropical storm force winds. That's 2 days from now. The outer bands will start reaching the coastal areas. That's when you can start seeing tropical storm force winds. I mean, on the other side of the coast, Wednesday morning. So basically, all through the night Tuesday, we're going to start seeing stormy weather across the Florida Peninsula. Here's what it looks like now, by the way. This is just a frontal line. There's a little bit of low right here. All this is that we actually got a little low. Remember we talked about that CAG, the Central American Gyre? We had a piece spit off that went around the Yucatan. Then we had this little piece that came up out of the Pacific. This is that CAG, actually. It got absorbed by this front. We actually have a little bit of storm, a little bit of spin, believe it or not. It's not anything organized. Doesn't matter. Well, I don't even have my page up, but we got other stuff to talk about. There's actually a little spin with this thing. Nothing tropical, but it actually has a little spin. Okay, we were going to show it. I want to see it now. This wasn't part of the production here. We're going off script. Off script. All right, so I think we'll see a little rotation on it. Oh, that's not the graphic I wanted. That's a shear map. All right. One more try. All right, here we go. And then we'll see what we got. There's a little bump I can see right there. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Double trouble. So if you're sitting around talking about the storm and having a beer, um, then show them that. That is crazy. We got that CAG low that ejected that we were talking about a couple days, about a week ago now, and it actually ended up here. That's a low pressure. It's crazy. That's what's bringing the rain, but that's not the system we're obviously watching. But that is kind of weird. All right. Other stuff that I got to show you. Let's look at the other things to talk about. All right. So here's Tuesday. Tuesday, we can start to see the chances of tornadoes. There's Tuesday. Wednesday's not out yet. We're going to see more on Wednesday. But this is Tuesday because we're going to start to see these feeder bands rolling in. So even though our storm's way down here, we're going to start to see the chances of tornadoes starting Tuesday. And this could be more into Tuesday night. Okay, so believe it or not, Tuesday things go downhill for the Tampa Bay area. Wednesday is going to be really going downhill. And Thursday on the backside. So we're going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of tornado chances. We always get a lot of tornado warnings with our system. We're already seeing it. Well, tomorrow morning we'll get a new update and we'll see Wednesday, and it'll show a lot more chances here as our storm progresses. Here's your surge map. All right, so we don't have the easy surge maps yet, but this link is on the National Hurricanes website, and it gives you kind of a worst case scenario what they're thinking right now. Obviously, we go up more toward the Big Bend, and you don't see much. You see a little bit for Homosassa. Then we start to see the red here. Red is high values, okay? Hudson going down towards Tarpon Springs. Obviously, Clearwater again. This is what they're worried about. Look at Oldsmar, Tampa Bay. We're already seeing surge numbers here that might be more than what we saw with Helene. So this map's on there. These are not, red is bad, yellow is bad, blue is bad. But definitely seeing some big surge here up into Tampa Bay. We go farther south. Unfortunately, Manatee and Sarasota counties, all these barrier islands are not looking good at all. Fort Myers is already doing evacuations on theirs, so everybody's going to be being evacuated here soon. Here's Charlotte Harbor and Cape Coral area, a lot of surge, Pine Island. So these are real. This is a current look here on National Hurricane Center. We'll get the fancy graphics soon. That's really easy to understand. But this one's kind of gives you an idea. Like, I didn't really understand why Oldsmar's in it, but surge is hard to predict. So I'm believing that we got a chance for some big water, even if it's not exactly a direct hit. These are on the National Hurricane website. Another site we can look at is the Sierra map. This one's a little more realistic to me because it's got the eye, but it's a good example to show you a couple things. One, wherever our storm takes the trek, obviously the heaviest surge is going to be on the south side. This is where the storms come in. That's where all the water rotates. But then when our storm exits, our storm is still rotating counterclockwise. And look, we're starting to see surge now, like we talked about a lot this morning, north, dirty side on the south on approach, dirty sides on the north on exit. And we're still going to have a hurricane out here off of the coast of the Atlantic. So we're going to have a lot of beach issues all the way up through Charleston, South Carolina, and Georgia here as our system rotates. Okay, so we're already starting to see some surge numbers there on the north side of Florida. Big surf, guaranteed. That's what happened with Ian. When Ian went through our state, the top side really pounded that east coast. If you remember, when Ian exited Florida, it was only a tropical storm, and we had all that seawall damages because of that. So got to pay attention to this. Same type of a scenario. We could have some sneaky surge and Atlantic winds and surf on this exit. That's exactly what people think. Ian was a strong storm. It was on the west coast. It wasn't on the east coast. It was only a tropical storm, and we had all that seawall damage. Nicole came in, finished everything off. Nicole basically was a tropical storm. It was a hurricane for a little bit. Same setup, pounding winds up into that. So that's going to be an issue. One map that I want to show you, I got this all linked to my site. Remember that center column there? You just click everything. You'll see this one on here. It says Gulf Surge, but this kind of got me a little startled today when I saw this. Clearwater Beach. up to 8 to 9 feet. This is kind of what they predicted for Helene. And with its current track a little south, still showing 8, 9 feet. Now that's remarkable, but looking at the NHC maps in this, you're starting to wonder, because our system's going to be so big, and I'm going to show you why, that we still might have some surge north of center. So we're really paying attention to stuff like this. This would be the same effects that Helene had without a direct hit. This was showing 11 earlier. All right, St. Petersburg showing probably the same, 9. And then of course we go farther down. Naples is the only other one I got on here, and it's showing 4. So anyway, that's the concern. It's surge. All right, latest spaghetti models, 18Zs came out. I don't know if we had a shift to the north or not. The black line is these are tropicaltidbits.com. The black line is the official line, the NHC forecast. Maybe we had a bump to the north. I thought we did. I thought we'd have a bump to the north with the NHC track. Maybe we will at 11, but a lot of spaghetti models wiggled, wobbled, flip-flop back to the north. That's why I'm not sold on this thing going any farther south. Remember, typical hurricanes want to go north. They want to go east. You know, most hurricanes that we've ever dealt with here are like that, right? This is such a weird pattern. But most of these want to turn north and east. Well, this is kind of wanting to turn north and east too. So it's kind of wanting to turn north and east the same way the other systems are turning north and east, just from a different angle. So stronger goes north. That's typically what happened. That's what happened with Beryl when it was in Texas. The weaker members were west, and the stronger ones went north. Well, we just flip-flopped models, and that's kind of what we're seeing. So I'm not, like I said, don't react. It's Tampa Bay. Don't react right now that, oh, it's going south. We got nothing to worry about. I know Ian turned, Irma turned, Charlie turned. Every storm's different. Don't be stubborn. Hit the reset button. Look at what happened in the Big Bend area with Helene. Look at what happened with Ian most recently. Look at Michael. This thing doesn't turn. It's serious. So just the one thing I wanted to point out early in the season was using the one line, don't be stubborn. Don't think because it turned, it's going to turn again. Okay, every storm's different. Like I posted 2 weeks ago, Mother Nature repeats herself, and here we are, another hurricane, basically in the same geographic area, Gulf system. This came in at a different approach, but here we are, and we're watching for maybe an NHC bump back north again. We wiggle, they flip, flip flops and windshield wiper. You hear it a bazillion times. That's why we can't get wrapped up. Now the GFS ensembles and weather nerds, they're back north again. Remember that? I posted one earlier today. It was a little far south. Well, guess what? They went back north again. So I'm cautiously very worried about Tampa Bay. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm worried about everybody. Okay, but Tampa Bay is my home, and I grew up there. I'll be on CNN 3 times this week. Hopefully, Fox. We're working out something with them. I'll be streaming live from where I grew up. There's no better storm chaser for this area than me, because I've grown up here. I will have an emotional connection tracking the storm because every memory of my childhood growing up is in this west central area. I was born in Bradenton. Pinellas is my home. So this is really, and I partied in Daytona my whole life, and I worked in Orlando. So I wish there was 10 of me so I could cover everything. Maybe there will be me. Maybe I'll pop around. Super ensemble blend, basically, I don't know. This is very confusing, but it pretty much kind of just pinpoints the UK South, the Canadian South, the Euro, Green, and GFS are to the north. So, if you're all right back there, the middle of the operational, way south of Tampa Bay. That's the black line. But those hurricane-specific models I'm going to show you here in a second, they've been trending north. Those models trended east for Helene, and it kind of played out correct. So I think the operational or the hurricane-specific models really need to be paid attention to, honestly. Peak intensity maps, oh my goodness, Cat 5, 3 of those. We got a tremendous amount of Cat 4s and intensity models. I tell you, these are sometimes wrong, sometimes they're right, but this is what they're showing now, and that's pretty intense. Maybe this thing will maybe Yucatan will have some impact. Yucatan, if you're watching, you definitely need to pay attention. This might hit the top side of Yucatan. Um, Not to forget about you all for sure. I think you're all on hurricane watches right now, but we'll see how it does with the Yucatan. But most of these models are pretty dang high, with some weakening on approach. All right, here's what I posted earlier. This is very fascinating. So we saw this morning. Tight little system north of the Yucatan. Very intense hurricane. We saw pressures of 900, 910. Okay, rapidly intensifying. Cat 4, possibly Cat 5 coming as soon as tomorrow, more likely Tuesday. But look at the size difference. Now, these are on tropicaltidbits.com also. These are your 10-meter winds. So basically everything in green is tropical storm force or greater, okay? Knots, 34 knots or greater. Purple's bad. Just purple's bad. Barney. Purple is Barney bad. But what happens is with a system that's going through this transitional period of possibly going subtropical, there's a front up there. It's going to, overall, it just expands. It's just a structure change. So on approach, the size, look at the size difference. And this is still showing up on the 18Zs. This was this morning we saw this. Well, the National Hurricane Center has been talking about it. But the size difference is incredible. And that's your wind field. So that probably is why these surges are going to be really hard to predict. The surge is going to go way farther south because we're going to have a lot more winds pushing up into that, west coast of Florida. More winds, farther south, more surge. So very fascinating to see this it turn into a large system. Now, what I'm cautious about, let's go ahead and just show you. And by the way, the recon's out there right now. Let's see what they got. 982. Okay, well, they did not lower the pressure. That's good. There's rumors there might have been 978, but that's where we're at. So it's strengthening. 982 is pretty darn low. All right, so here's your latest hurricane models. Let me show you. Oh, that's a weird color. The winds here. Let's go to the latest HWRF. So your 18Z. Let me show you what's going on. So initializing at 978, pretty close. Yucatan there, 940, 936, 934, 929. This is a major possible four, possibly 5 hurricane just north of the Yucatan. That is going to be pushing a ton of water towards the Florida West Coast. Strong system. Now watch it just start getting larger. Now, when it gets larger, it's losing a little bit of pressure, or it's gaining pressure actually, which means it's weakening a little bit. Okay, don't use those keywords. Okay, not to hype, but look, 939, 940. Okay, it's not 920 anymore, but 940, that's strong. That's Cat 4 range. 943, 946, and look at the track. It's just north of Tampa Bay. This is the 18Z. This track would be absolutely devastating to Tampa Bay area. Not Tampa Bay, all of Tampa Bay area. Because all this surge is the bad surge, okay? So any track towards Tampa Bay to the north is the worst case scenario. The NHC track is lower than this, but I think it's going to bounce back. All right, so all the models are doing this. 935. Here is the HMON. It's 921 on Wednesday morning. Holy crap. 915 as borderline one of the strongest storms ever in the Gulf of Mexico. 917, 22, 31. See, it's weakening, but do you care? That's my point. I really don't want any talking point out there. It's going to weaken, but it weakens to what, right? Yeah, hey, I cut back on my drinking. Oh, you did? That's great. Yeah, I used to drink 3 12-packs a day, and now I'm down to 2. It's still significant. Look at the size. Look at this thing. Just the wind field is massive. This is what's going to bring in inland effects. That is huge winds, man. That purple, those are hurricane force winds. We got max winds here, over 100 mile an hour right now. 955 pressure, but this is what impacts now more than just landfall. And these winds are going to make their way inland a lot. When we cross the state, we're still 987. Technically, a hurricane still strong, and then there's those winds on the north side. But when our storm exits, there's a frontal line kind of up there, and this is really going to bring a lot of impacts on the north side. All the models are showing that. So as our center exits, the dirty side now is the north side, and that's where we could see some big surge and waves up there. This would be Thursday morning. Most all of them are out of here by Friday. So let's look at the Hass A one more time. We didn't do that one yet. And see what we got. Hass A 927, little storm. 920. Then it starts to get bigger. Oh God, right towards Tampa. I mean, it weakens it. 954. Good news. But again, even if it's a Cat 3, we can't, Tampa Bay has never got hit in your lifetime unless somebody's 103 years old. 1921 was the last one we got hit. Nobody's experienced this in our area. Nobody's experienced, granted, Fort Myers North, I'm talking about. Tampa Bay area, I'm talking about. No disrespect to Fort Myers and, Inglewood and that area where I wrote it out. I'm talking about Tampa Bay area. No, this area has never seen a direct hit like this. Irma was the closest thing in 17. It was a 1 through Polk County. It was a 1. You think about all the damages we had with Irma, and that was only a 1. I was going to come across the state, still 977 pressure over the Cape. 977 pressure, extremely strong. Look at these big winds on the north side now, wrapping into the northern coast. That's going to be the big story. There's that dirty side, big winds now on the north side. Dirty side, south side coming in, dirty side, north side going out. Hurricane all the way through the state. Just remember that. We're going to have significant beach problems here north of center. All right, enough of those models. I do want to look at one model that I didn't have up. Let's look at, I want to see the wave map forecast from the Euro. I haven't really showed this one. I guess I should probably share this one. Let's see what the wave forecast is. We'll be live tomorrow at 9:19 Eastern. Talk about what's changed overnight. You want to see the intensity come down. I mean, but we're one day closer tomorrow. I mean, I say that, I don't mean to be like a robot, but it's true. One day closer, things should become a little bit more confident, and they really have not changed much. I'm going to show you one more graphic to show you where we're at. How things really haven't changed all that much. So let's look at some wave heights here and wave periods. Well, I'm not going to get into wave periods, but wave periods are part of surge, definitely. But here's where we're at. Let's take a look here. So there's our pocket of waves. Now, this is getting up to 30 feet. These are significant heights, 30 feet in swells. Definitely helping drive that surf into the coastal area. And then there's our backside pushing into upper part of Florida and Georgia. So again, significant waves and beach issues on both sides of the state as that thing comes across. Let's take a look. We haven't really looked at the operational models. Let's take a look real quick. I just fell in love with the hurricane model so much. Let's see what the latest Euro is smack dab over Tampa Bay. We're not going to look at intensity because usually the Euro is wrong. 972 though, still very strong, but smack dab over Tampa Bay, the latest Euro, the latest GFS. 954. Oh my God, it's north of Tampa Bay. 959. That's a pretty big jump north of Tampa Bay. Maybe the outlier, but it's not south of Tampa Bay. That's why I don't think we're going to see any more tracks north. This system, but we'll see. Latest icon is it's just south of Tampa Bay, Manatee, Sarasota. So that icon's come up some, almost smack dab into Bradenton, Sarasota there. The Canadian track this season has not been the best at at this time of the track. Yeah, it's going way south, but it's an outlier. It could go down there, but the Canadian hasn't had a good year. Um, and that's all I'm going to show. So the TVCN line is your trending model. This great website here from Brian Tang. This tells you the trend. The TVC. Oh, sounds getting jumpy. Shelly says, "Let me close some tabs here. Slow down a little bit. I get hyper." Um, this is your consensus models. Pretty much showing you the last 6 runs of the averages, and we're right back smack dab in the middle. The darkest blue line is up a little bit. So that tells me the NHC is going to bump back north again. We'll see. If I was a betting man, then NHC 11 o'clock, it's going to bump north again. We're going to see a classic flip-flop windshield wiper bounce back. We'll see. And there's the last shift in the NHC. You can see the previous ones were a little bit to the north. The last one was the dark blue line. So we'll see if it bounces back. But very tight cluster. The tracks have not really changed. You remember with Ian, we had GFS up here, we had the Euro over here. We had a lot to talk about. This system, the biggest change for this system more than anything has been the widening wind field. It was always going to turn subtropical, but now it's going to do it right before landfall, it looks like, and that just expands the impacts. The impacts now are not tiny. The impact's not like Charlie. Charlie was tiny. This sucker's going to be big. It'll be like an Ian as far as winds go. Maybe not as intense, hopefully, but Surge was down at Fort Myers Beach. I was up in Inglewood getting some of the strongest winds I've ever seen. And that's like an 80, 90, 80-mile spread there, right? So big system, far-reaching winds. Don't focus on the center. Prepare for the worst. And if you're, tomorrow people are going to be waking up to evacuations and panic's going to set in. So go to bed tonight, get a hotel room. You can always cancel it. Go to hotels.com. That's what I do, and I buy the $5 insurance. That way you can cancel it. No questions asked. Make sure you have gas. The gas stations are already starting to run out. We have water. I've already seen stores are out of everything. You should all know this by now. But have a plan where you're going to go, what you're going to do if you're if you're going to lose everything in the surge areas. I mean, it's sad, but you got to think about that. I mean, it's awful. It's just I'm numb right now because I just can't believe it, honestly. But I'll become more realistic tomorrow as far as more exact tracks. But things are solid, man. I think this is a very solid forecast as far as tracks go. I've seen them with big spreads before. This is not. So we'll be live in the morning. Big thanks to Shelly. I hope the connection was decent. Starlink wasn't working good. We have a huge thunderstorm going on top of me right now here. And I think we made it. But we'll be back live, back at home tomorrow, 9:19, back in my home studio. And thank you for watching, okay? If anybody signed up new to the Brew Crew, listen, we cannot get to you during these storms. We appreciate the support. There's nothing in the Brew Crew that you are not getting as far as information. Brew Crew is just an extra perk for supporting us. A lot of people get support just by donations. We actually like to give back more, so it just takes time to process, and we don't do it during storms, so don't be mad. We'll get to you, I promise. But really appreciate the new subscribers and supporters and let me do what I love to do. 20 years now. Sure, we'll have Kevin Guthrie on probably tomorrow or Tuesday. And it's starting to get real. So I'm kind of in a whirlwind because we're at Talladega and I've got very little sleep, but I'm trying to update as much as I can. And we'll be back home tomorrow for the final countdown. All right. History in the making. Possible Cat 5 in the middle Gulf of Mexico. It's going to get everybody worked up, trust me, when if this happens. So, all right. We'll see you in the morning. Have a good night.